So tonight, we're at Art Talk number 25, March 4th, 2026, Review and Reflections. This is going to be the things that I wrote up for myself and thought they might be helpful to other people. This is one of the paintings I did this year, Ancient Waters, because we're going to talk a little bit about how you're moving forward in different things. It's a very different way that I did this, and I really like it. It has some places in here you can probably see there's some stamping and then some painting. This is all watercolor. And I actually started it with two blue hand carved stamps on the page and went from there. So that was kind of an interesting start. All right. This is a review that I have shared with the Master Artist class and also published, as we talked about. This is designed to help you reflect on what you have accomplished last year and what energy you felt you used, and also for encouragement coming to this year that we're in. Some of these are going to not resonate with you at all. You're going to go, that's not even my field of what I'd be interested in. And others will be right there. So depending on your health, your travels, the time with your family, ways that years change, what I want you to do is, while we talk about these, and we'll show you here, while we talk about these, we're going to want to have you write down at least two or three that you go, yeah, that's something I would like to discuss. And then when we come through them and I open up the mics, then you'd be able to say, oh, yes, I really do like that idea, and I'm going to put that into use, or this is what I did last year. And you'll see a little more of that. So I just wrote what I did this last year is just a couple points. I had a very busy 2 years. Gloria Miller, Al, and I, a dear friend, we wrote Clever Endeavors, a book that's on Amazon, and you can get it from us, that we did. We took 2 years with it. We also had a museum of our work that was three large rooms that were filled with just our art and the foyer, and it was a real big event. And we did talks there, and we did a demo. We did all kinds of things, and the book took 2 years. And I've been juried into a number of shows, sold art, taught classes, the things I usually do, speaking engagement. But one of the new things was book signings. And just saying that makes me feel good. So those are some of the things that I kind of came up to. All right. So this is where I'm doing the personal review of last year coming into this year. So this first one's going to be the personal review, and then we'll come to what we want to have next. So this is the review, the reflections of what I would look back on. So when we start these, you can write down one of them that really is one you want to talk a little more about. So one of them is creative growth. How did my art grow in confidence, technique, subject, or style? So one of the things I just showed you, the waterfalls, was a different style or technique for me. And my confidence grew as we had this large show that we had it promised to us 3 years before, and it took about that time to get all the new art for it. But that helped with my confidence. Output and discipline. What did I complete? What studio habits supported my work? I really had to work hard in my studio to be ready for this event in time, along with the other work that I do and teach. It was a heavy packed 2 years. Recognition and response. Where was my work seen? How was it received? This is big. This is something I want you to always watch. What did other artists say of my art this year? Critiques, affirmations, insights, and it could be positive or negative, and you can decide which things you want to hold on to. But you don't see your art the same as someone else does. And quite often when I'm doing consultations or whatever, I'll say, did you hear what that person said? And write it down, because they said something very powerful that you just didn't catch and write down. And I don't know about you, but I'll forget some of those things 2 seconds later. When I go to a show and I have the juror talk about my work, I say, could you tell me about my work? Why did I get in the show? And if I got an award, I'd say thank you. But I'd say, what did you see? And I always have someone else that's with me write those things down, so I have my full attention on her and then have that information for later. Otherwise, I won't remember what she said or take the attention he or she I should have. Okay, here's a personal growth. This one is about a full sheet of watercolor. And I just had fun playing with all these motions and feeling like these were running. And this little guy was saying, follow me, come this way. And they were kind of in the water and bubbling around. I love nautilus shells because of the way that they are a Fibonacci mathematical sequence of numbers in their shell parts. But I just loved, this one was a lot of fun for me. So that is one of the accomplishments. Okay, next one. Learning and discovery. What new skills, ideas, influences did I intentionally pursue, and how did they show up in my work? One of the intentionalities was that show. And Gloria and I were asked to do almost all new work for these 3 big rooms, and they wanted it large and they wanted a lot of it abstracted work. So that pushed me to do work that was entirely different, because when it went really, really large, it ended up being on canvases with watercolor and other materials. We both did one painting each that was the size of a double bed.
Oh my goodness.
That's kind of big. So
that's amazing.
We thought we were crazy, and maybe we were, but they came out really well. Direction, identity. How did this year move me closer to the artist I want to be? How did I feel? Of course, a lot of these are feeling. Did I feel confident in my voice and in the decisions? Was I curious to open to learning, experimentation, and committed to my work? Did I trust my process and long-term direction? Okay, so there's
nope, that's all good.
We're going to come back to some of these. This is looking ahead. So all of those would be where I looked back and tried to answer those questions for myself, like you would. And it would be, what things this year, my creative focus, what themes or intentions will guide my work this year? Some of them would carry on from last year. I'm still working on my creation series that's been going on for years, like the shells that you saw. And then I'm also going to add some abstracts along with my other work. Practice and rhythm. What studio time, pace, and structure will best support my art? My studio hours. It is hard being a full-time artist, instructor, speaker, doing shows, to keep studio hours that stay in there. So I have to relook at that again. And the reason I said pace is sometimes my pace is very quick, and I need to take the studio hours, lock them down with certain times, and just take a pause and take the time. So a rhythm to me is deciding what I need to do for studio hours as well as my work. Sometimes I go fast and sometimes I go slow in my work, but I want to be aware of the pace I'm doing. Education. What skills do I want to deepen, and learning opportunities will I pursue? Visibility. Where do I want my work to be shared beyond personal enjoyment? The reason I said that is some of you are in a different art world than I am, and we all individual. You may not want your work shared outside of your personal enjoyment. There is nothing wrong with that. So this is why it says beyond that. The visibility, what is your visibility, your comfort in the visibility of your work? I have one person I've worked with for at least 20 years, and she only shows her work to me. No one else ever gets to see it. And it is over the top fabulous. And I'm sad that she doesn't want to share it, but that is her total right to do. So for her, it would just be for two of us, which I feel very honored. And then stability and support. Who or what will affirm my work and sustain my creative journey? You have people that are your surrounding people, which are some of them in this art talk tonight, that affirm my work and help me stay excited. Community. How will I connect with the community for motivation, honest feedback, and how can I make those relationships meaningful? So quite often that's going to be where I am doing a speaking engagement or something that I will connect past. I do a lot of donations to groups that Rick and I feel good about putting money to. So I have the symphony is one of them that we do in Idaho Falls, and that is for community enrichment. Moving forward, how I feel, how can I become more grounded in my purpose, a confidence voice? Oh, look at those big spaces. Elizabeth wouldn't have done that. How can I become more grounded in purpose, confident voice, and decisions? How will I be committed to creating, trusting the process, and sharing experiences with others? A lot of these repeat. Do you see that? And I feel the reason they have to be repeated is they're important to me, as well as they go in a different place. This is how I feel. The other ones are how am I going to do my time? They kind of run together. Art for enjoyment. I really feel it's important to enjoy what you're doing, although sometimes it's a struggle. How will I make space for play, which I'm doing more and more of? I might show you what I did the other night on a conference call. Exploration, creativity without regard of the outcomes. All right, how many can raise your hand and say, I can play, not worried about its outcome? Yay! How many of you say, I'm getting there? How many of you say, I don't care? I'm not doing that. Again, your choice. I'm finding I'm more creative if there's times I will allow myself just to play. How will I nurture joy, curiosity, expression? Am I allowing my art to be meaningful? And is it a source of renewal? All right. This is just something I wrote that is just helping as a quick little thought. My purpose, direction, and thankfulness that I can create the balance and sustain a joy to my work. Not everyone is able to create in the way that all of you can. None of us are the same, but there are times that I have a friend that has MS and she can only view her work now. She no longer could, she has to be thankful for what she's done in the past. She can't physically do it, but she is very joyful in that. So those are things. This is a new thing I did this year. It's a sculpture. It got in a national show that's coming up soon. And so that would be one of last year's new things that allows me to look at and maybe do it again, more of that this year. Okay, so let's go back up to the top here. And we will go through some of these things. Let me just take a peek at what I have after that. And I know, yeah, that will be later. All right, let me come up to the first slide that I want you to be in. All right, I'm going to stop the share. I will pull this back over so you can see it. How many of you wrote down a couple things that you have ready to talk about the subject? Because I asked that you would write down a couple things. Okay, all right. You may go ahead and unmute.
So I had a exhibition last year where I was definitely challenged to do much larger artwork because being a newer artist, I kept it mostly on the smaller side, but last year was the first time I did like 4 to 5 feet sized paintings.
Good for you. So that was stretching.
Definitely.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Someone else on the reflections of last year.
Mary.
Mary.
Last year I started a project with IFPD, that's the Idaho Falls Police Department, for anybody else who doesn't live here. I am currently looking at it. It's a portrait of the canines that they have.
Oh.
And for the next 3 years, or at least 2 now, I'm gonna have one shown in different shows and try to get, if they're juried, the money goes to charities for canines. So that's an ongoing project that came from last year that is, I've never done that before, so that's what I did.
And it's going to continue.
Yes.
Yes. Can you, it looks like you're looking at, can you, does your, yeah, I can move mine around.
I got one of,
Oh, wow.
that's Argo. He's a drug dog.
How cool.
Woof, woof, woof. Okay, I'll put him
Well,
down
if
now.
I was a drug person, I wouldn't want him after me.
Oh no, he's got some snappers. All right,
Okay,
I'll mute now.
good. Someone else. You did something different last year. You felt successful in an area, more confidence.
I'll go, Linda.
Okay, Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me pop in your group this week. Well, we went from hobby to business last year. So there was a whole bunch of things that we did that were first. It started with the Idaho Watercolor Society. Putting my first piece of work in the Capitol was a pretty big moment. And it was so neat because I do a special effect and they put me in the dark, but it actually worked for my benefit because when I shine a light on my painting, I suddenly had 30 people around me going ooh and ah and seeing the three-dimensionality that I've got built into it and some sparkles and things. And that helped me with branding. So my branding is Shimmers of Light, and it works well because I'm also a gemologist. And so I would say in terms, so we're only answering that one question or also habits that have.
I'll come back to habits.
So don't do a habit. Okay, save my habit. But I would say that, yeah, that. And then the other thing that I started doing as we started doing in public events was I started painting at them in public. And
right.
it got rid of all my inhibitions. It really encouraged so many people to see the messy before you see something perfect in the booth. And just the quality of conversations, it was wonderful.
Yeah,
It was just meaningful.
Pardon?
It was meaningful. Like it kind of went beyond it being a transactional thing to being a connection moment.
A connection with the community. Because
yeah. And then also you get immediate, feedback right away. We had about I'd say 85% of people would turn in our booth, even at large events, and that was pretty
good.
Fabulous. And then lots of comments from people. And so
good.
I know who my market is. I know who my customer is. I know what worked really well. And I know some things that we thought would work well that were okay, that maybe we don't need to focus on too much. Yeah. You know how it goes. Yeah. So you have to be willing to
adapt,
be out there and be responsive to meeting those needs. Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. I'm going to come back over to this so that you can, Barbara, go ahead and unmute. You are muted, Barbara.
Okay,
you're good.
Well, last year I knew you like Hawaii, and my friend invited me to her home on the Big Island for a week. And she knew I painted, but she didn't know what. And I've always done watercolor. So I was so careful to just stay as a purist in watercolor. But she landed up buying me acrylics. And so I landed up, I don't know if you can see this. This is my first acrylic painting. And like you say, I did something different. I stepped out of the box, And so now I'm not afraid to go with mixed media. And you have certainly encouraged me to do that as well. So, and I love your book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love it. But I do think it is kind of good to, I feel like like almost a new woman feeling like I broke out of the watercolor box and it's okay to do other mediums.
It is. It tells you if you do different mediums, what happens is it lets you know that all art and all mediums have the same basic elements and principles of design. Design is design. Otherwise, you don't come together with something that is cohesive and eye-catching and brings the public in. So it's it's really fun when you move to a different, you work to a different medium, but all the tools and understanding come with it. So
It's so true. As a matter of fact, the color theory was there. It was the same. The design when I, was drawing it out was the same. So I just loved my new experience, and I love my friend for buying me these cute
good.
and great as acrylic set. I just had a great time. And also one last thing. I've been away. I'm looking at 9/8/25, which was the last class I was able to take with you. And again, here's my notes from that day's class. And so when you say make sure you have a notebook and something to write down on, it's true. And so when I found this about 2 weeks ago, when I finally returned home, there it was opened up. I opened it up every day. And then I got your email about tonight's class. So I cannot express enough how important writing notes are.
Good. So you're starting my second book. Okay, let me go to the next slide here because we've got a lot of things and I want some other input. All right, so this one here, let's see. Some of them kind of overlap, like we said, learning and discovery. Now this would be last year still, right? Yes, just this here. Learning and discovery, we already heard some of that from you. How did last year help you know more of where you want to be as an artist? And did you grow in how you feel confidently? Someone tell me how you feel that you had confidence grow last year. And we've already heard from people that said they have a skill that has come up, a different skill. And then the other thing is it moving you closer to the artist you would like to see yourself? Loaded questions. Barbara.
Well, I can just say one of the reasons that I've been able to go is just coming to your chats here. This is really nice to be with other people that share what they go through. And by listening to you and other people, it really helps me to not be afraid, to
Good.
stay vulnerable and not worry about what I might have thought was a mistake could be a huge positive growth for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm going to mute you now, and then I'm going to say, last night I did this demo, and my artists that I was working with, they're like, I know, I saw their faces, and they're like, that's not going to turn out to anything. And it kept kind of going, and it kind of came out. And it's that idea that you just keep at it and just keep using your tools to go there. So I have more confidence, even when I have a vision of ugliness. I believe that the vision will be of loveliness. So it just takes time to pull it around. Okay, good. So someone that feels they're closer to the artist they want to be. I'll pick on you. Okay, Betty, I'm picking on you.
I was being so quiet.
I know, but I saw that look. Okay, so you're doing more and more of your portrait work. How do you feel about where you're becoming? Because I think you've got something to share there.
Oh, do you want me to hold it up?
You can, but yeah, you can
yeah.
hold it up and then tell me, why do you feel that you're becoming more the artist you want to be?
Well, the thing that I love doing people. I love doing landscapes, but I really wanted to do people. And I wasn't happy with the skin tones.
Mhm.
So I've taken some Zoom classes with Kathleen Giles on that and Chris Stubbs, and just been working through mixing different colors and working with how much water.
Mhm.
Boy, that makes a difference, the amount of water you do
Right,
or do not
right.
use. So like I said, doing studying and practicing and doing and not being afraid to do a painting a second time when you're looking at it and you're going, it's just not quite where I want to be, which is what I'm in the process right now. So I'm doing a full sheet of my granddaughter.
And in the master's class, you have real tough critiques that keep you moving as
Oh,
well.
and the critiques are so wonderful because we really need to get down to the nitpicking, this little thing or that little thing, because that's what's really helps you to improve when you learn to look and see, and when we see other people's work,
Mhm.
that um, that's more education for us. And when
And
we hear,
kindly done, not
oh,
kindly.
well, it
Yeah,
has to be in a safe place because I think we've
right.
all been where it wasn't safe and it just turns you off. But if you've got a safe place and the critiques are with kindness
Mhm.
and well done, you could, oh yeah, either I do like it or I don't. You make up your own mind.
Right.
That is so helpful. So I
So
just,
show, you have it right there. You can hop.
yeah,
Okay. And whenever you show something, I ask you to show something, you have
okay.
to talk at that same
Okay, they
time.
have to realize this is not finished. So, and look, can you see it?
Yep. Pull back. There you are. It's getting there. That's all watercolor. Good job. Thank you.
So you can see on her face, oh, it looks darker here. In reality, it looks much pinker and lighter. But yeah.
And I'm going to go back and mute you. And the other thing too is you made her the young girl that she is. The first one was a little bit older for her age, just because of the lighting and the color. Okay, let me come over here. I want to watch my time. Okay. And then let's go on to what you want to do this year. Okay. And again, some of these are going to intertwine, but I'm thinking already intentional. How many of you would agree that if you are not intentional, that you're not going to get very far? If you don't really say, okay, I'm going to have studio time, I'm going to decide which things I want, and you can on a whim do something else. But the idea is you're going to really study, like I'm going to do more shells, more Nautilus shells, and you can study and then you can see different colors and make them serious or not. But you'd have the intention, and like Betty, she's going to really focus in the skin tones, and Elizabeth is working on her large paintings that she's doing and also her fine jewelry. You can have, fortunately, you can have more than one thing. Otherwise, I'd be real disappointed because I really did like the sculpture I did with the shells. It's only about, sculpting all the little clay shells. And it's about 12 by 12. So it's not big, but it took as long as a painting. And then what education. So let me pull over this. So this is your intentions, what you would like to do in this year, what themes, or we've talked about, we had a whole thing on studio hours before. What's going to support your work, or who's going to support your work? What educations might you need to go into? I will put a plug here that my book will give you a lot of good ideas, as well as my online subscription that is like 80, 90 lessons now. And then where would you maybe want to share those things? In fact, did we have that in the other one? We must have. I really meant that, I guess. So let me come down here. Okay, aspirations. Maybe I went up. Look in your head. Nope, it's the same one. Okay. And then sustainability, moving forward. And I have to actually work sometimes at remembering it can be fun instead of just serious. Some of you don't have that problem, but I can get overloaded where I think, too seriously sometime about myself. So on those things of how would you move forward this year? How can you make the art for your enjoyment? If you don't have a studio, how can you create a space that is your studio? When we did studio talk before, we actually talked about how my studio was in a closet where I had to shut the doors and be inside when the kids were little. So it can be most anything. Someone unmute and tell me what is something that you want to see in this year for how you move forward. And some people that haven't spoken before, I would love to hear from you. It's a quiet group. Nobody has any intentions for next year.
Something new that I'm doing, Elizabeth here, is forming into collections. And so I had some interest in doing, for example, I went to Tucson for the gem and mineral show for my jewelry business, but I intentionally went some places where I could, make reference photos and get to do some outdoor paintings in the big red rocks in Arizona. And so now I'm pulling together a Southwest collection. And I went to an art event last night, and some people came over and said that they've been watching me on social media, and they not only enjoyed, because I've been testing doing like where you paint really quick, you put it on fast forward just to see if people like that.
Yeah.
And they're actually really interested in my Southwest collection, but here in Idaho, which is so interesting because it's where they've vacationed.
Right. Right.
Anyways, it's just been neat to start thinking about grouping instead of being a little scattered, to kind of build them into little collections. And
that's actually something that when we did the museum showing, and Gloria and I had, I don't know, we had between us hundreds of paintings. We had them in themed areas, and they had certain themes that they wanted us to do. If it was all scattered, they would not have chosen us. You have to have a body of work. And if you want to be in a gallery or in a fine art showing, you want to have a body of work that connects. And there's a lot of ways that can happen, but you want a connectivity so that when a gallery looks, it can go, okay, she's not, or he is not that scattered that we can't work with them. Because what they want is, if something sells, they expect that is going to be something other people want, and you're going to need to be ready for that. Good. Okay. Someone else. What's something that you saw on the thoughts that you would want to do? Okay, let me come over here. Go ahead. Who is that?
Mary.
Oh, Mary.
What I want to do in the future, the community one I liked the most. I'm hoping to continue to do art to help first responders and connect art and that lifestyle together, whether it be helping with the canine projects or maybe helping with getting them into art for art therapy, something like that. Maybe something to get their mind off of what they see every day. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
That's very good, Mary. And that is real important. I'm working with the Nest, which is helping young mothers. And Rick and I do quite a bit for that. You must know about that, Mary. And it's just a wonderful group to support. So we have certain ones that we just really feel drawn to helping them with the art or with finances of some kind. But if you have art, they have a big event every year. There's a lot of places that have a big event a year that you can put your art in as a donation, and then they're able to sell that and bring to help their support.
Were you at their gala last year?
No, I was teaching somewhere out of the area, but we contributed to it, and I think I gave some stuff to it. I've already got stuff for this year.
It was really nice. It was a really nice gala.
I know. I missed it. There's too many galas out there in the world.
I know, right? Anyway, I'll mute now so someone else can take over.
Thank you. I will try to get it this year. Okay. Let me come over here. We've got about 10 minutes before we do a little review. So let me find my thing here. Okay, I have something that I just had quick here. These are the things that I looked back and just put. I'm not a journal person, which I wish I was. I've tried them so many times and I'm just not me. But I will take little short thoughts and reflections and put them in a book where I keep track of things. So what I did is I looked at all those things and just put them into a small thought here. And I would encourage you to do that. It's like my work has grown in confidence, curiosity. I have consistent studio habits and steady output. I have people that are affirming me, stretching like a lot. I'm wanting to do intentional. I want my work to remain joyful and grounded, and then have purpose and trust in the creative process. So I would encourage you after tonight, write yourself, don't get too long, and I'm talking to a couple of you. Keep it short and concise of what you want to put all those ideas in together tonight. And then this I just did for you. And you can adjust this if you want to, but you might even take a picture of that and then, type it out or something. But I thought sometimes I just want something on my wall when I'm working, and I walk in and go, okay, I am protecting my studio time. I'm in my studio. All right, I did that. I'm going to do something intentional. I'm going to trust process. I'm going to make space for joy. And I'm going to work with, I think it's really important to be grateful, and that helps you be balanced in all these things. So I just wrote those little thoughts that you can take, and it's a concise of all the things that we kind of talked about, and you can pick your own, but if this one kind of resonates with you, you can do that. And then I had another one here that I think was shorter. Nope, I didn't. I only gave you the one, I guess. Let me look. Nope, that was a long one. Here's a short one. So you could just pick a couple of these and put them up, and put up a poem or a scripture or a saying or something that somebody said about your work, so that you've got it in front of you. I know a lot of you do this, have won awards, and I put my ribbons all on this board that I can open up and go, I did it before, I should be able to do it again. So I have it where I can encourage myself on those days that you can say, I got nothing, nothing's working. And then you can still go back and say, well, I did it before, I should be able to, and I'm farther now, I have a little more education. So let me show you what I just played with last night as a quick play. And I actually looked at it today and I kind of like it. It was just taking and being free to just do a tiny little abstract piece while it was a quick little demo in our master's class. And it's a way that you can play with different tools. You can come up with, small little gifts. If you put a frame on it, you've got some quick little things that you can sell for bread and butter kind of money when you're in a show. But those are the things that are good warm-ups. So you can kind of think of that. So let me put you over here, and then we'll have some final thoughts here. Okay. So do those things that encourage you. These are some of the, you can look online. My website's going to be changing up here pretty soon. My web person has told me that for at least a month. So it should be happening pretty soon. And it will have a lot of the same information, but these are the kinds of things I have for services for you. I have classes online. I have all kinds of things that you can look and see what I have available to you. And then my subscription, a number of you are in there. It's $20 a month, and I think it's about 70 or 75 lessons. And you can have access to the entire subscription as long as you are $20 a month, and I get a portion of that. And it's a lot of material, and it's got a lot of the art talks in it too. And that's a little bit about the subscription. And look over my website. You'll find things in there, and you'll find I have a YouTube station. I have a poster that you can even download and put in your studio. I've got a lot of things that would be helpful to you. And then my book, which I guess I didn't get here on the last moment. But the book I have is on Amazon, Clever Endeavors, and it is filled with a lot of lessons, encouragement. If you have an artist, if you have friends that don't understand why you're an artist, buy it for them and they'll start catching on. So, all right, so we have a few minutes left. I'm gonna be dangerous and go ahead, and I'd like to hear from as many of you as I can a thought of something that you felt this was worth your hour of time. So I will be daring and say your name, and you can just say pass. How about that? Helen Ann? So you don't have to unmute if you don't want to do this. I'm trying to keep it. You're muted, so.
Have to find my
I know, it's hard to find. Did you get any new ideas?
Well, yes, and I think it's always good to take time to reflect multiple times because you always get something else. And I particularly went back to the creative focus. And during your discussion, you and I had our discussion, I realized I really want to do more ocean work, ocean scenes, that type of thing. And I didn't realize how much that it is something that I really want to do. So I think that's going to crop up in the coming year. The other thing that I've learned, and in part through this whole process, is I really want to salvage or work on paintings that were not ever completed. They're just half finished works or half finished ideas. And the challenge for me is what can I do with this that might bring it forward? So that's what I'm looking at for this year. And it's always nice to be reminded. Thank you.
And actually, my book has a good section in it of repurposing. And it's really helped a lot of people come up with some beautiful works of art that were the goes unders. They goes under the bed and you forget them. So that helps. Lauren, are you want to pass or go ahead?
Well, I am so glad that you had this review, Linda. It was very, very helpful for me because I look back and I thought, boy, I really have done a lot and I've grown a lot as an artist. And I routinely look back at my work, like I spread it out in front of me and see where I've been and where I'm going. And what's really exciting to see is things that I did like 6 years ago are now, it's taken me somewhere into the future,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's really exciting to see my growth. So I thank you for giving me an opportunity to think about um, just how much I've matured as an artist, and
Good.
and I do what you say. I try to listen and like have protected studio time, and I have a deep spiritual practice, so I just try to turn myself over and just let's see what happens without judgment, without fear, without I just trust that I'll be given what I need to do. So yeah, so I thank you so much.
In fact, something I will let all of you know that if you want a one-on-one with me, I do half-hour consult times, and I will give you the discounted amount, so we can talk about that if you ever want to do that. Kelly, here's the book. While I'll hold this Clarence way.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's how many of you? There's a number of you that bought the book. Gloria and I put our years and years of experience in there that is pretty cool. All right, Kelly.
Definitely the reminder to have fun in there because I am running as a business, so sometimes I just get so lost or focused on marketing.
Oh, I know.
I forget to try to have a fun project in there.
That's where you do the small little warm-ups. And if you ever do the subscription, there's a whole lot of those and little things that you can just kind of get going on. So good. Okay, Lisa. Thank you, Kelly. You're muted. And it's down on the bottom. I'll let you look for it for a minute, and I'll go to Joanne because you're still muted. So
okay.
I loved the book, Linda. That was so inspiring, your book. I did some of those exercises and they were great. And you talked about repurposing my art, and I did that today in my collage group. I took a painting that I hate. I just didn't see the purpose of keeping it anymore. So I'm working on this now. It doesn't say
Oh, fun.
much. Whoa, I don't know how to do
Put it in
this.
front of your face and it's back up.
There. So it's a collage
Oh, good.
and it's a work in progress, but you inspire me so much. So
Good.
it,
That's my
it felt
job.
good.
So I would the next art talk, I don't have my topic yet, is Wednesday, April 1st. No kidding. Really no fooling. It's April 1st.